Hello. My name is Kaspars Mednis. I'm from Zabbix Riga company, where I work as technical support engineer, as consultant, and as a trainer. And today I will share with you some tips and tricks which I hope will help you to use Zabbix in a more efficient way. So let's start. I will start with really simple things which we will use on almost all the slides in the next scenario. So we will start with user macros. What are user macros? They are simple variables where you can store credentials, where you can store thresholds, where you can store any information which you will need in later processing. And just to remember, macros has three levels. So you can define them on global level, then you can define them on template level, which will override the global level, and at the end you can define them on the host level. Usually you will work with template and host macros. You will define your password or threshold on template level, and then you will override them on the host if needed. So, a few use cases. Here, standard use case. You have different servers and they have different loads. For some servers, CPU load are heavier, or maybe memory usage is heavier, or you have more processes running, and some servers are less used. So, if you're using the same template with fixed threshold, then you will have a lot of false alarms. And maybe you will need a different template or things like that. Or you can use the same template. Just replace the fixed threshold with macros, like here, process numbers, and then assign them to host. Standard host, heavily loaded host, lightly loaded host, and then just replace the macro on the host. And the trigger threshold will be changed. So you can use the same template for all your hosts and adjust your triggers as needed. So here is an example how it looks like. The same trigger expressions, CPU load, but they are replaced by CPU load, memory free, or cross number macros, which can be adjusted. So this is really efficient way how to build templates. And when we build templates in Zabbix team, we always use a macros. Another good example about macro usage is maybe you need to monitor network ports. And you have such items like TCP port checks for SSH, HTTP, HTTPS. So this will work fine. But maybe for some of the servers you will have different ports. And then you will have a problem with this template because you will need a different template for different ports. But you can define a macro, HTTP port, like here, and assign some standard value, 80. And then assign this template to all the hosts. And if you need to change port, no problem. Go to the host, just change the macro on the host level. And you can use the same template for all your hosts. It will work just fine. So here is a real life example. Template, NetTCP service, SSH, and SSH for macro. By default 22, but you can change it on the host level if needed. The next problem. You want to monitor a free disk space. And you are using low-level discovery for that. Low-level discovery will find all your moving points just fine. But boot, root, and other partitions will have different sizes. So you will have problems defining the threshold level for them. And you will start getting the false alarms. How to avoid that? You can use context-based macros. This is really cool feature of Zabbix. So you will build a template. On a template, you will assign some general low space value, like 1 gigabyte here. And then you can define low space levels for different modules. By example, boot 10 megabytes, root 500 megabytes and word 5 gigs. And then you can assign this to the host. And then, if you need to change something, you can change the size of the word, or you can even add more. So if the data is unique only for this host, then you can add a macro on the host level, not adding it to the template. In the real life, it will look like that. So you define log space boot you can use such syntax. Yes, you use the macro log space and then you use this syntax to define the point. And here is the trigger. So here host file size, use the low level macro here, and here is the expression, which will be replaced by the correct name, by the boot, root, or data, or if this is unknown, then it will be replaced by the default value. And of course, this is Linux example. You can use the same for Windows drives, C, D, and so on. Okay, next example. Maybe you need to monitor Windows services. And Zabbix has a really nice feature where you can discover Windows services. But if you use a default template, you end with a lot of Windows services, like 30 or something like that. And you don't need to monitor them. You need only to monitor some of them. But the services may be different. Maybe on some servers you need to monitor DHCP clients, RDP services. Maybe you need to monitor Exchange. So what you can do? You can of course use global regular expressions, but you will have a lot of combinations. So this will be not so efficient. But you can define template assigning service node. This just means don't monitor any service. Assign this template to all your hosts, and then if you need to monitor Exchange, just redefine the macro service to Exchange. Or if you need to monitor Tomcat and Windows Update Service, just redefine the service to Tomcat and Windows Update Service. And those services will be monitored. So for the first server, no services will be monitored. For those hosts, one or two services will be monitored. And then you can extend. Maybe you need to monitor DNS client or DHCP client for all servers. So you can define global regular expression and you can add it here. And this expression will end with monitor, Exchange, and DNS client and DHCP client on every server. So this is one way how to build a really flexible monitor. Here is a real-life example, how it looks in the Zabbix interface. Host macro, regular expression, and the combination. And this combination will monitor Tomcat, Visus, DNS, and DHCP client. So, here was just an explanation. Okay, let's move forward. Another very, very good example for user macros, you can store credentials. You can store SNMP communities, you can store SSH passwords, web logins, any credentials you need. How it works? Because problem is, if you are monitoring different customers, they will have different communities for SNMP. That's a normal solution. Or maybe you have different sites with different communities. And you want to use the same template for monitoring. Not just to clone templates. So, you can create a template for SNMP monitoring and add some generally used community, like public. And then assign this template to customer 1 and customer 2. After that, you can define template for customer 1 and template for customer 2. And define the SNMP communities which will be used. And then assigning them to those customers. So they will replace the community. It is a good idea to even remove this one. Because if you leave this like that, It's a template with highest ID will win, but it's not a good idea to assign macros which can conflict in theory. So you can live with a template SNMP which collects all the data and which uses this SNMP community in items. But SNMP community name is coming from another template, which is empty, which just supplies macros. And, with such design, you can use the template SNMP for unlimited number of customers. Just define customer related settings here, assign it to customers, and it will work. Here is just example. So customer template, this template has no items, no triggers. It just has SNMP community stored here. Okay, let's move forward. So, in the latest version of Zabbix, we have introduced pre-processing. So, how it works? Here we have a host. Hosts are gathering data, and data are stored in Zabbix database. And then we can add pre-processing, which will transform the gathered data. So, data collected, then they are pre-processed, and they can be pre-processed multiple times. As well as installed. Yes, you can have such a pipeline. And then the transformed data are stored into the Zabbix data. Really simple example just to explain. So, this functionality is in Zabbix since the beginning. Yes, you can just convert units using custom multipliers. In previous version, it was in the item screen. Now it is moved to the separate pre-processing tab. So custom multipliers or delta or speed per second are also pre-processing steps. So this is really simple. Let's move to more complex examples. Maybe you need to monitor free memory on Linux, and you don't have an agent on that system. You can use only SSH checks. So you will get text report like that. But you need to define triggers. You need to extract numerical data from this. What to do? You can use regular expression preprocessing. So you have this textual icon, and then you can add regular expression which has multiple capturing groups, which will capture the third group from the scope, which is 890. This is this step, yes? And then, because for some reason I'm collecting data in megabytes, but I need bytes, I can multiply them and get bytes back. After that, I can use this numerical information in any trigger expression or draw graph like that. Zabbix supports with Perl regex pattern. Okay, so another another example. Here in this scenario, we are executing this command, which will return status of services, but it will return the status as enabled disabled. We want to use 1 and 0 because it is easier to process, because we can use them in the graph. So, what can we do? In Zabbix, we have, first we will match the regex for Zabbix agent. And then we have special pre-processing step called convert boolean to decimal, which will convert true, yes, on, enable to 1, and false, no, off, disabled to 0. Those are built in. And if you will assign this step to pre-processing, it will just find from the previous slide the Zabbix agent is enabled, and it will replace it with 1. And then the final value which will be stored will be 1. So this is another efficient way how to convert data. And here we go. Regular expression, extract the service, Boolean to decimal, here is the configuration, and here we have latest data. Yes, 1, 0, 1. Not enabled, disabled, but 1, 0, 1. And this is different. This is different from the value map. You use value map to show value. 1 is disabled or 0, 1 is enabled or 0 is disabled. In this case, you are transforming data. You are storing 1 or 0. And you can even assign the value map here to show that 1 is enabled. But in the database will be stored 1, not the enabled. Yes, and another nice thing is here. If we are talking about the preprocessing, we are collecting a lot of textual data, which is heavy, which takes a lot of space in the database. And as you can see here, we can define history period 0, which means data is received and then data are preprocessed, and all those items will be stored in database, and this will be nothing. So you will not store the heavy textual data. You will store only the integers of status of 3 Zabbix services. Yes, so let's go to dependent items. In the previous step, in the previous slide, we extracted just free flow space. Yes, but with introduction of dependent items, you can do this more efficiently. You can create one call which will report the free memory, and before dependent items, you needed to create 9 items. Yes, you create standard items, then you just extract this or this or this, and repeat this 9 times for all the methods. Now you can just collect the master item like that, and then you can extract from it all needed information and store it in the database. And after that, you don't even need to store the initial text item. So call this command, collect information, extract data which you need to store the database. Just one call is made, and you are collecting 6 methods, or even 9 if you need swap also. Here is the real life example. So here is a textual item, here is a regular expression, and here is what we get. So memory report 0, not storing it at all, and storing only the shared total used free space. Here is the item configuration. Yes, this one is the master item, and those are the dependent. Another use case for this, you can also extract data from other textual reports, yes? Not only from memory reports. You can generate, by example, MySQL report. In this case, we are monitoring the slave status. Is the slave okay? Is it behind master? So you can execute this command. You will get such textual report. Previously, before dependent items, when you wanted to extract such information, you needed to make a lot of ODBC calls, which was not good because you were creating a lot of database connections. It was excessive CPU load. Now, with the new Zabbix, you can just call it once, gather all this report, like that, gather slave status, then add preprocessing steps, what you need to monitor, and store them to database. And don't keep the slave state. Yes? This is gathered, then this is analyzed, dependent items created, and this is all. Here is the real configuration. So we have the replication status, and then we have like 7 items generated. here you see, the status is not stored, so no data for it. Only we are extracting the actual data which we need. And this is one ODBC call. Another example, just to show you the possibilities of JSON preprocessing. Maybe I want to monitor the weather in my home city, Riga. Yes, I'm from Riga. And I want to know, is it cold now or not? We have a site called Open Weather Map. It has nice API, which returns JSON. Yes, you can just send request, and this OpenWeatherMap.org site will return back JSON-based data, which you can then preprocess using JSON path preprocessing, extract temperature, humidity, and wind speed, and store the database. So this is, and yes, by the way, we are using the new item type HTTP agent for that. So HTTP agent with key, with URL, supplying unit, we are getting back the JSON. Here is a JSON. And then from the JSON, using JSON path, we can extract any information we need. Yes, maybe we need to extract the humidity. So this is body main humidity. If we need to extract the temperature, it is body main temperature, and so on. So any matrix you need to gather, just write the correct JSON path, which is really easy, and you will get back the value. The same for wind speed. Yes, body, wind speed. And this is how it looks like. So we have JSON path, we have parameters, and here we have the result. Out of the box, without any scripting, just using built-in tools in Zabbix. Okay, next topic will be low-level discovery, which is a really important part of Zabbix. The general rule is if you can discover something, discover it. Yes, because it will help to automate a lot of things. Let's start. I will show you some use cases. In built-in templates for network interfaces, you have network interface discovery, and then you can discover all the switch ports and things like that. I will show you some custom discovery. So maybe you need to monitor the printers. You want to monitor supply levels, paper trays, things like that. And the printer supports SNMP. Okay, let's start. This is a standard tree, and supplies description, capacity, and supplies level are stored in those OIDs. The trees have the same structure. If you have 4 supplies, it will have 4 entries here, 4 entries here, and 4 entries here. And from that, you can take the first one and create discovery rules. If we have 4 supplies here, it will just create 4 SNMP value indexes. And then, for other ones, you don't need them. You have indexed this tree, you have built SNMP index from this one, and then you can enumerate another one. And with this simple discovery rule, you can assign them to any printer. It may have 1 cartridge or it may have 4 cartridges, doesn't matter. It will find all the supplies and it will start monitoring. And this can be used not only on printers, on any kind of device, on routers, I don't know, any device which can support SNMP. So here we have discovery rule, which will discover SNMP OID by this tree, and here we have the item code. Another really nice example. It seems simple. You have an agent and you need to monitor some remote ports from this agent. So where's the problem? Just create a template, just add a few servers and start to monitor. Okay, but then you have another host and another host. And from all the hosts, you need to monitor different servers. So the problem is you have one host and you need to check the connectivity from this host to different sites or other services, and from this host to some other services, and how to handle it. This is not an easy situation because you can create, of course, you can create individual items on each of the hosts. It will work, but I don't like creating individual items. You can create templates, but you will also end up with a lot of templates. So, the solution which we offer, yes, here are the problems. And solution which we offered was a simple bash script. You see like 9 lines of bash, works on every system. What it does, it will take user macro, process it, and return back JSON, which will be fed to Zabbix discovery, which will return item prototypes. So we feed just a user macro to this one, and this gives back JSON, like here. So we call it with external checkpoint remote, and supply the LLD remote check macro. And this macro looks like just like that. So here we have a macro, and we have IPs and ports. And for every IP address and port, by that bash script, JSON is generated, and Zabbix will create item prototype. So if you need to add one more host to monitor, just extend it and add to this user macro, and it will create a new item here. If you need to remove this one, just remove it from macro, and this item will be removed. And this is really nice and effective because the Zabbix internal LLD mechanism is used here. So it will clear up unneeded items or add new items as needed. Yes, another example about SNMP, the same thing. You have VLAN controller, you have multiple access points, but the only smart device here is this one. So this one returns information about all the access points. But you need to divide the information because maybe the access points are used by different customers, and you don't want to give information about all access points to customers who don't need this information for security reasons. So you cannot use just standard discovery with item prototypes. It will not work because everybody will see all the items. But you can create host prototypes. So this template is available on Zabbix integrations. And what it will do? It will just scan this device, the controller, and this controller will return the SNMP tree. And for every entry on this tree, by LLD rule, it will create host prototype with IP address, with name. Then it will link a template to it, and at the end, you will get something like that. So all the information is coming from the same device. Yes, but you have created automatically 5 hosts, and then you can assign the host to host groups, and with host groups you can assign permissions. So then you can give customers permissions to only those hosts they need. So why use that? Because the same thing, managed by Zabbix low-level discovery mechanism, so automatically created, automatically deleted. You can assign templates and host groups automatically. You can generate them dynamically, and of course you can restrict the access. One more nice example about JSON, and This functionality is now available in Zabbix 4.0. So, we have write controller. This is a real life example. And this write controller supports multiple disk arrays, and multiple disk drives can be assigned to each array. And this controller can return native JSON. So you can add controller status, and it will return JSON just like that. Status, then it will return drive 1, then all drive 1 parameters which you want to monitor, then somewhere below it will return drive 2, and so on. And then you can do like that. You can create master item which will collect this controller state. So all this information will go here. Then, at this time, you need to write custom script. The custom script will just parse this JSON. It will find all the drives, and it will fill them as drive IDs to Zabbix discovery rule. And then you can create dependent item prototype, and then you can start to monitor all the drives. So this can sound complex, but it is not complex, because in Zabbix 4.0, it is a new feature where you can assign a regular master item to dependent item prototypes. So those are dependent item prototypes. They are created as needed for every drive, but all the JSON data are collected from here, from the master item, which is some general item. And of course, we are using JSON path for that. And the last from me, just how to define actions in a more efficient way. By default, all the actions are executed immediately. But maybe you don't want some immediate action. Maybe you want first action to be executed after some time. And I have seen a lot of customers creating first fake step, which does nothing. Like that. You have operation steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have the default step duration, which is 1 hour, and then operation step 1, do nothing for 30 minutes, and then send message only half an hour. This works, but I can just show you another way how to do it. So, you can change, you can change the default 1 hour to 30 minutes, and then here, do nothing for the default interval. And then, if it's default, immediately do nothing, then why we need this step? You can just remove it. Zabbix allows it. So you can start your action from step 2. Yes, step 1 does not exist, but it will still count. And you will have the same schedule. It will look just more clear. So this is just some visual tip from me. Yes, it will look like that. Action, operations, and you see. There is no first step, but the default step duration is 30 minutes. So first step will count. And the second step will be started after 30 minutes. So yes, I had not so many time, so I wanted to share some tips to you, and I'm ready for some questions.